right. Let's get this started, right? It's time. Let's do this, right? There's it's this button, isn't it? Right? And then we get the thing here. Hey there, friends. Look, even my green screen. Ah, there we go. Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It is so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz. I'm all kerfuffled here. I don't know what I'm doing. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is February 20th, 2025, and we're going to write a little bit of code today. How you doing there, chat room? Already running the hat command. Let me say hello. I started just a smidge late here. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. We had a bunch of folks watching on YouTube last time, so welcome in, everybody, whatever service you're watching on. It's great to see you. Hello to Null Sheffo, C# Titan. Greetings to you in Melbourne, Australia. Hope you're having a good evening. Yeah, the category drops right at the beginning, and I've gotten into a process now of after I press start, because Restream doesn't copy in the category properly, right after I press start, I go and update the category immediately on Twitch. So it's kind of a thing that I do now. Billy Cool with a big wave there. Reg, greetings to you. Codebase Alpha, how you doing there? We ran the hat command, and you know it's my Pong hat. There you go. M. Pulowski, hello. Hope you're doing well this morning. I've got my coffee here. I've got it in my Microsoft Azure cup. Good morning, Robson. How you doing? I've been doing a little bit of testing for the .NET Aspire team over the last day, and I can share that information. That's not going too far outside the box here. And they're getting ready for a release, and we're doing some testing and investigation and getting things ready. So it's very excited to go through and have that experience and check out the new stuff as it's getting ready to be released here. XUnit or MS Test, and why XUnit? XUnit has a dedicated group of community folks that have been building and working on it. And because it's something that's being built and delivered outside of Microsoft, there's a number of other influences that go into it that make it a little bit more robust in being able to work with and do other things that don't just tie into the Microsoft tools. So, SQLite going into production ready. Well, SQLite is very much production ready, but SQLite is not something that I would use for a multi-user application. In Aspire, SQLite in Aspire, I don't remember that going in as an integration. I wasn't looking closely at the integrations. I was looking at other features. I'm going to get some music playing in the background here. This is the Stream Beats Rock playlist we're going to start with today. And this is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. Use it wherever you'd like. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for this music we're listening to today. M. Pulowski with the resub.
Pulowski just resubscribed for 57 months. Wow. A long time learning more about C#.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that support. 57 months, almost 5 years. Man, that's great stuff. Thank you so much. Let me catch up. Let's see what I missed a comment or so there. So that's why I like XUnit better. FUnit's the best. I don't remember FUnit. How you doing there, Dr. Cox? Good to see you. Sir Barkalot, good afternoon. Surly, how you doing there? Good afternoon. See, I used your first name, just Surly. See, I did that right this time. The infamous Fritz unit. No. I did write a unit testing framework for Windows 8. Gosh, I can't remember what I called it now. And it was to help test JavaScript applications that were built for Windows 8. JavaScript applications completely fell by the wayside at that time, back in 2008, 2009. And folks, it was 2012. And it's funny, we've come right back around where everybody wants to build applications with JavaScript. Like, I was right back then. Good to see you, Eric. Hello. You've been watching the generative AI videos on the .NET channel, says C# Titan right here. A pretty awesome tutorials. There's absolutely stuff that we want to make sure that folks understand how to do with .NET. That .NET is a very capable ecosystem to use with building and working with generative AI. And yeah, you don't need to go and find a whole nother tool set and learn that and augment it in and spot weld these things together. You can do it directly from .NET. There are tools and APIs available. And the stuff that you can do is really, really cool. And we're going to be doing more of that on stream here when we get into March, because we're going to have an updated version of our chatbot out here that's interacting with you, and you're going to see some of those AI features come into play. So it's not just doing the hat detection, but it's going to be doing other things. We're getting closer and closer to that. So that's the next generation chatbot that I've been writing in the off hours called Project Charlie. We're about 2 weeks from it being ready to go. Carl Codes, hello, how you doing there? C# Titan asks, did I ever meet Dave Plummer at Microsoft? No. I don't get to I don't get to meet many folks outside of DevDiv, only because I don't work and I don't visit and have cordial interactions with folks on campus. That's when I travel to Redmond to work, I'm literally working from the moment my foot hits the ground to the time that I leave. There is no socializing going on the whole time that I am there. I am constantly either in a studio producing, in meetings with folks working on a product, or recording video somewhere outside the studio, or back in a hotel room or in an office writing code, getting ready for the next day's stuff that we need to get delivered. Yeah, when I travel, the amount of socializing that I do is actually at a minimum. Like I would love to actually tack an extra little bit of time on here, but I do not typically socialize beyond dinner, a couple drinks after dinner, and then we're right back to working. So, Eric asks, did I see the quantum chip? Yes. I was not familiar. I was not aware of this. I have some friends that are recording and putting together quantum computing podcasts, and they were very excited to see that. Quantum isn't my bag, only because it's without the quantum hardware, you're working on an emulator, and it's kind of theoretical. Hey, look what we could do if we had qubits. But now, like, they literally invented a new type of matter so that they could create a chip to be able to run millions of qubits and be able to do quantum processing. It is amazing what this is forecast to be able to do. I have no insider information. I have only seen what's in the press release, but it is an amazing step forward that and an amazing advancement in technology, which then leads me to the worry of this isn't something that like somebody in a garage just kind of figures out one day and goes, oh my gosh, look at what I figured out. I put together some things and boom, I've got MySpace, Facebook. I just figured that out and glued these together and look, it's a new product. No, this is something that took tens of billions of dollars of investment. Like, top scientists in the world literally inventing a new type of matter. I am I am patiently waiting for the Federal Trade Commission in the United States to figure out some way to punish Microsoft for inventing a brand new way to do technology. It's coming because the Federal Trade Commission hates everything that Microsoft does. Don't take my word for it. Every business move that Microsoft makes, the FTC comes and criticizes. The European Union is going to have sanctions on Microsoft for cornering the market on quantum when they literally invented something that didn't exist in physics and science. Like, these are the types of things that I worry about because we've seen how these government agencies like to react to Microsoft when Microsoft has amazing achievements, invests and builds something that changes the way that we do business or technology. Like, there's a thing going on here, right? I actually write code. You thought I just preached Java programming with COBOL? Oh, Luther Crow. You watched the video on Majorana yesterday? Cool stuff. Yes. But can it run games? It's supposed to be able to run AI processing significantly faster than anything we do today. So, how you doing, Mythin? Good to see you. As long as the quantum chip can run Doom and Crisis, you're good? Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to be buying a quantum chip anytime soon. Like, right? It's all about the dollars. Hey, look. Businesses invest to do research and development so that they can make more money, so they can optimize their processes, so they can sell new products. When they do invest that, and they do discover new medications, they discover and they figure out new products, new flavors of soda, new sandwiches that they can sell at their hamburger restaurant. They should be allowed to capitalize on that investment. The challenge is governments come down and say, oh, you've cornered the market on hamburgers with cheese and bacon. You're not allowed to do that. What? No. You'd like to put a piece of Canadian bacon on a hamburger with cheese? You can do that. But we figured out that hamburgers with cheese and bacon are pretty good and folks like that. That's the challenge that legal teams have to deal with whenever there's any kind of a significant advancement. C# Titan asks, what are my thoughts on the interview style where they ask me to write code on a whiteboard? Had a friend today who was asked to write a linked list algorithm in C#. Younger in my career, I thought the whiteboard interview was the coolest thing. Because they're not really looking for specific language constructs. They're just looking for how you think through these things. Earlier in my career, they're looking for what your thought process is. Unfortunately, that practice has pivoted, and many people ask for the whiteboard coding exercise so that they can see what you know and what you don't know. You don't know by heart that syntax for C# ends with semicolons. You don't know that if statements need to have curly braces to offset the blocks. For loops need to have curly braces. You don't know the proper syntax for each in C#. You don't know the difference between a struct and a class. It no longer is used to see how you think through a problem, but it's used to see how much of the technology you know. I don't like it anymore like that. Because the simple fact of the matter is, you're not going to be writing code without a tool. And that tool, whether it's Visual Studio Code, JetBrains Rider, Visual Studio, is going to help you recognize when you've written syntactically correct code and completing accurate statements using things from your references properly. So I don't like it anymore. I think there's other more interesting ways to do that type of thinking test, and you hear about the riddles that folks at Google and Microsoft will ask folks. So, like, there's questions like, hey, you have a box of ping pong balls, and some number of the ping pong balls are painted red. How do you separate the ping pong balls without examining every single one and saying red and unpainted? How do you separate that quickly? And there's a whole thing where they want to hear your thought process about it. There's no right or wrong answer. It's how do you separate them? Quantum chip on a USB drive for $5 from AliExpress. Computer science and organization relies heavily on research and development. Absolutely, Eric. Yep. And asking how to write a linked list, it's a garbage request, because you can do it with structures that are directly in code. So, no, not like that. Your former team member would cross through questions about syntax, saying the compiler will pick up those errors. Stacy Clouds is here. Hello, welcome in. There's our friend Stacy. Good. I got to see Stacy a couple weeks ago in Stockholm. Fantastic. We even had a panel discussion together, and I think the video of that panel discussion you're going to see pop up on YouTube soon. So, pseudocode, code style, what libraries to use, spaces or tabs. Oh gosh, Eric, your friend was going for a Blazor web dev job. See, no. If somebody's going for a particularly a web development job and they're being asked to design structures in computing, like a linked list, how to reverse a string, no, that's garbage. Go away. Pay the intern to do it. No, there's already structures out there that'll do it. You don't do coding exercises when you interview for dev jobs, says Codebase Alpha. I have the candidate do a code review on a single page of code. There you go. I get them talking, give me a good idea of what they know and don't know. So one of the exercises that we do is we'll grab an issue from GitHub and we'll send that to the candidate and say, take a look at this issue. Let us know what you think when we have the interview tomorrow. We want to talk about it. We don't want you to write the code to solve it. Let us know what you think. We want to talk about what could have caused the problem. How would you go about fixing the problem? How would you triage the problem? Where does it fit? Is this something that should be fixed now? Should it be delayed? There's all kinds of things about how somebody evaluates either a feature request or an issue report as it comes in, that you get to learn about that person as you watch them talk about it. And I hope that you out there see that as I go through and review the issues for projects like SharpSite that we're working on here, where we talk about here's a feature we want to build, here's an issue, how do we address it, how do we identify it, how do we isolate it, and then how do we prepare it so that we actually write the code to address it, whether it's completing the feature, fixing the issue, and getting it ready to deploy. What does that process look like? And thinking through that whole thing and watching that process is very telling as to what type of engineer, what type of software engineer you're going to be working with. And I hope that I'm setting a good example for folks here. Yeah. Because even I get folks that ask me for an interview and they're like, well, we want to know what you know how to code. And at that point, that's when I step back and say, you asked me here because of my presence on video and social media. You haven't looked at my content? And because I have such a base of content, I can pull that. I can make that work. Most folks cannot. You were asked in an interview to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now that's a question that I've heard folks get as well. Especially for folks who are in quality assurance, write me a script to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yes, and it's interesting to hear what parts folks include and what folks exclude. What do you need to make that peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Well, make sure you get 2 pieces of bread, get a knife, maybe get a spoon. Make sure you get out the jar of peanut butter, get out the jar of jelly. Maybe you get the squeezable jelly. That's okay too. And then what's the steps to go through? So, videos are being processed. You loved being in Sweden. It was great to see you, Stacy. Really awesome. Had a fantastic time there. Sir Barkalot could not attend Sveitog. How did I like it? Oh, it's great. Sveitog is a fantastic time. I gave 2 presentations about .NET Aspire there. One where I showed folks how we build the Aspirify.net website. A second where I went through some of the basics of getting started. And there's a demo that I do in the basics of getting started where I show the resiliency features of .NET Aspire by turning off an API, and you get to see it retrying connecting to the API. And then I turn it back on and you see it connect and return results. And then I show how easy it is to add Redis into the mix as an output cache, and how that makes it even more resilient, more robust, and how you get logs and trace information about all of that stuff going on. And it's, in my opinion, I haven't gotten negative feedback about this. In my opinion, showing how you grow your application in those things that none of us like to build: resiliency, distributed tracing, metrics, service discovery. Nobody likes to build that stuff, but it's in the box, and it's a very good opinionated standard that comes with .NET Aspire. How, as your application grows, and even when those errors happen, Aspire's there to help you. Really great stuff. Had a fantastic time. I love giving that part of the presentation. There's so much more that I'm going to be doing with those presentations as we look forward to the next release of .NET Aspire, to build, to .NET Conf coming up in the fall. There's more and more great stuff coming. Interview question from the book: are you smart enough to work at Google? You're shrunk to the height of a penny and thrown into a blender. I've heard this one as well. Your mass is reduced so that your density is the same as usual. The blades start moving in 60 seconds. What do you do? It's and Surly Dev, it's such an easy answer for that one, and I don't think anybody answered it. You jump out. Your mass was reduced, so your density is the same as usual, but that means that your muscles are the same strength. Your muscle strength wasn't reduced similarly, so you can jump the 18 inches, the 2 feet, to get out of the blender. So just jump out. You walked on a frozen lake today. Oh man, that's such a cool experience. Had an interview on Tuesday, getting asked what you think is hard. Sir Barkalot, I've been asked this a lot. What do you think is hard? And I usually come back to documentation as something that's hard, because you're trying to communicate and step outside your mind to what the person who doesn't know what you know, what they need to learn about it. Writing the code is easy because a compiler is going to come back and tell you this works. You're going to have tests that come back and say this works. You're going to be able to look at a screen and see a feature that works. Getting that out of body and reevaluating, okay, if I don't know anything about this product, about this feature, what do I need to know about it? Writing that documentation, writing that training material, writing that tutorial, in my mind, that's hard. But it's also the most gratifying. Because when you deliver that feature, folks are going to look at that feature and go, hey, that's great, look at that feature. When folks read your documentation, when folks go through your tutorial, and that moment happens in their brain where they understand it, they understand why that feature works, they understand why they need that, there's an appreciation that happens there that in my mind is more gratifying than actually building the feature. Did I figure out anything more about Allure after last stream? I found out it works with TRX files, and we might be able to avoid that whole build and generate Allure thing that we were trying to fight with. So, I got the job. When can I start? Sometime on the other side of next Larch. Next Larch, right? Right. January, February, March, April, May, Larch, right? Those are the months. So, sometime on the other side of next Larch. There you go. Hey, John, you're in QA. We've done the peanut butter and jelly challenge a few times in your career. Yes, yes. Trying to get a bagel out of a toaster when it sinks too deep without a knife. Oh. Tongs. Spoons. One of your struggles with .NET Aspire and Blazor is ASP.NET MVC gave you structure, so I have to remember to maintain that manually in Blazor. Well, that's not an Aspire thing. And yeah, that dictated structure isn't enforced in Blazor. It gives you a little bit more flexibility to do what you'd like. At a former job, Surly having a colleague had a calendar with a month called Never. There you go. Yeah. It's called Future. 30 seconds till ads. Twitch has us airing 2 minutes of ads. And then we get 60 minutes of no advertisements. So for anybody that comes in, right, the visit advertisements go away. So, what is that? Igna Devs, welcome. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you joining us. Let's get in. Let's go back over to SharpSite. So, eeny, meeny, it's this button over here. Go to that one. Full screen code. It's this button. There we go. We've been working on getting things started. What does installation, what does startup look like? And there's a couple bugs here that we've been working through and fixing. And we started doing a little bit on a default theme here. But we went through and we wrote some Playwright tests for this, and we learned a little bit about how Playwright works with Blazor. This was important. Robson with the big sub.
Robson Previator just resubscribed for 10 months.
Thank you so much for the subscription. 10 months with us. Much appreciate the support. So we learned that as we're writing Playwright tests, Playwright doesn't recognize the enhanced navigation. So when Blazor enhanced navigation runs, it's just like when you're running a SPA, a single page application, and it loads data from the server and repaints a section of the user interface. We need to put a little bit of an extra weight in there that says, hey, after you click this button, after you click this link, wait for the network traffic to be idle again, and then you can proceed, and then you can continue. So we're going to take a look at, I think there was it's not really a bug, but I think we want to write some tests, and let's add a test scenario and build the feature for, let's figure out how to delete a post. Let's do this one, and then we'll go back into the out-of-the-box startup experience up here. So that's where I want to go. I see a couple questions coming in. Coming in there in chat. I'm waiting for the advertisement banner. I don't even see the advertisement banner. Are the ads running? It's not clear. The first one here is on YouTube. I'll go back over here and we'll answer from what do we have up here? From Software CDN. Oh no, I'm sorry. Up here. Is it Guillermo? When should I favor dependency injection over using a helper method when adding new functionality to a class in .NET? I I would always prefer using a helper method. Why would you need dependency injection to add new functionality to a class? I know architecturally how you would do that. You could do some property injection. But right, is adding a new feature to the class, is that something structurally that class, that object needs to be able to do? If it is, then add the extra function. If it's a sealed class that you don't have access to, write an extension method. There's times there where it makes sense that you're answering this object can do this thing. Add the helper function. Graphic Edit, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you joining us. If it's something that another object does that this object needs access to, then dependency injection. I wouldn't be injecting new features all the time, right? There's clear separations of these objects do these things, right? That's an object-oriented design thing. And that class has a single responsibility, right? If we think about solid principles, right, the S in the solid acronym is single responsibility principle. Your class should do one thing. It is this, and it does that thing. Do that. Does your helper function augment and enhance that mission of that object? Yes. Okay, then helper function do that. But if it's something else, hand it off to that other thing, right? My edit page in SharpSite should facilitate you interacting with and editing a blog post. Okay? It doesn't do saving the blog post. Saving and managing, interacting with the database is something done by another class, a repository class. Then I can swap in different repositories that know how to write to different databases. But I'm able to set that up. So this is a little bit of an object-oriented design question. On YouTube, Software CDN says, I hope I have time for a question. Do I have any recommendations for using Blazor in production, but simply to be used in a WinForms app? How would the hosting of Blazor work? So it sounds like you're looking for... Now, I'm not sure what you're looking for. You have a Windows Forms application, and you want to use Blazor how? There is a feature called the WebView 2 that will give you a instance of the Edge browser, just the frame, the rendering frame, inside your Windows Forms application. You can install a Blazor version of that will start up Bootstrap and hand off functionality so that you can embed Blazor capabilities in your Windows Forms application. There's things like that you can do. I'm not sure that's what you're asking, but that is a possibility to kind of bridge the gap there. Because then eventually what you can do is migrate your Windows Forms functionality into that Blazor application that you're hosting inside of the Windows Forms app. And at some point, you're done migrating everything into that Blazor middleware, not middleware, that Blazor hybrid experience, and you can just put it on a website at that point. Just host it centrally, and then you're not deploying any applications. So there's options there. You'd like to build a Windows Forms app that has access to the system tray, but then use Blazor for the SignalR aspect. That way I can instantly notify the users. You don't need Blazor for SignalR. You can install and run SignalR locally, but you're actually connecting from Windows Forms to do notifications. You don't need Blazor for that. You can do, if your Windows Forms app is connecting out to a server, you can just run SignalR directly. You don't need Blazor in the mix there. So, and that Windows Forms app you can set it up with a system tray access and pass information to the system tray to raise notifications. Mythin with a question. I have an Aspire question. He says, it almost seems like Aspire keeps building new Docker images. However, it doesn't clean them up. Is that something I'm forgetting or a known bug? No, it does build new Docker images, and yes, you do need to clean that up, and that is something that I do a lot. So if I go over here to my Docker desktop, right, it does build new Docker images. When does it build it? It's I'm trying to think when it actually builds it, because when it runs it locally, it's not actually building a container. Maybe it is. But you can see I've got lots of them here. And there is a way to tell it to clean those up. Is that it? Yeah, remove unused objects. Right, so I have 70, there are only 4 that are active, so I can tell it go clobber and get rid of the rest. And reclaim that 40 gig. But I don't really want to do that because not all of them are in use. So, right, you can just... And, I mean, you could even make this a... You can script this. There's a, right, Docker prune images, and you can get it to clean up images that aren't tagged and named anymore. So, and just schedule that to run once every so often to clean these up. Not hard to do, but definitely something that you should do every now and again. Like, get rid of some of these old ones. Right? And, I mean, there's lots of versions of things here that, yeah, we can clean up. Right? So... And I mean, if you're feeling lucky, you can certainly go and say delete things that I'm not using. Right, order by the size, and yeah, get rid of the open. Nah, leave those. I'm working on that, but right, there's like 3 versions of them. I don't need that one. I can get rid of this. I'm not working with that right now. SQL Server, I'm not working with that right now. I'm not working with that one. So, give me back there. I just got back 5.5 gig. Like, sure. Not hard to do. So, hey, did you start the test? You said you were going to complete today. No. So, there's something to be said about that kind of accountability buddy. And quite frankly, I do use the stream as a little bit of that accountability. Hey, let's go work on this thing. Oh, I need to get this thing done for stream. And I do use that as a little bit of a motivator. And there's other streamer friends that I want to help and to help me with some of those things, because if it's not something that I'm immediately doing for the stream the next morning, I push it off, and I want a little bit of accountability on some of that stuff. So, does Microsoft ask about solid principles in interviews? I don't interview engineers typically, but I haven't heard it being asked about. Hey, Eddie Dre. Yeah, Blazor Hybrid. Exactly. You can benefit from using the Blazor web view. That way you can host HTML and CSS. Yes. And I've talked to folks about using that as a migration mechanism, as I was explaining a little bit ago. So, you're welcome, Guillermo. Good luck to you. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Quite frequently use that command. Was just curious whether I forgot something. No. Clippy is your motivator? Oh, gosh. Oh, no. That can't be good. Let's head back over to the code. Let's talk about this. I don't think of this as a bug, but more of like a missing feature. The ability to delete a post. That reminds me. I've been bad. No, I'll have to do it another time. All right. Shoot. All right. Let's write a test to create a post and set up to delete the post and figure out where we want to put the delete button. And I mean, I think we know where we want to put the delete button, but actually setting up the entire cycle of building and making this work. So, yeah. Here we go. And over here, that's me working on Charlie. Spoilers. Okay. So let's jump over to SharpSite, right? And this was the spike we were working on with Allure. I am not going to work on that right now. Back over to the 07. And let's call this a branch called feature delete post. We probably also want a delete page capability also. Nah, don't need a spec. A button on the list of posts, that's where I was thinking of just a button on the list of posts and not a delete button in the post. And at some point, we'll probably want a series of checkboxes on the list of posts so you can say delete all of these. But for right now, just a single delete button. Because nobody uses this yet. A single delete button is good enough. Somebody can open an issue and to allow multiple deletes of posts. Can somebody else open an issue for delete pages? We need to be able to delete pages as well. So, and we can start writing those. You out there can start writing some of those playwright tests, just like I'm going to do here, to define what this looks like. So let me push up and create the tracking branch out on my GitHub that we can work with, and I'm going to start by defining the little bit of a test, the integration test that makes this possible. I think. If we look at post repository, there it is in the abstractions. Yeah, we do have a delete post method available to us, but we don't have the actual delete post steps. So how you doing there, Beer Up? Hello. Good to see you. So let's head somewhere down here, down to our end-to-end tests. I feel like we're starting to get to a point here. Ooh, can I do let me know how this looks. Did that zoom in properly? Right? Looking at this, that's not the way I wanted to do that. No. What's the box? Is it control? I thought is it? Yeah, control. Looking at the list of these, right? I forget what it is to clear. How's that? Is that good? That didn't work. That didn't work. How do I clear this? No. I forget how to zoom in with Zoom It. It's been so long since I used Zoom It. You managed to get the auth test working. Oh, using Playwright storage so we don't have to authenticate. Really? So that happens. At the conclusion is in the dispose when you implement async lifetype. I was watching his video on Zoom It. Control 1 does the zoom in. Control Z undoes. There's a thing to clear the screen. No matter. And funny, I have a call with Scott later today. These are starting to get a little bit out of control. And I think we're going to want to organize them at some point.
Right, Scott.
It was E. Okay. Yeah. There you go. So, where's dem folders? Absolutely. Right. So if I control 1, right, I can zoom in a little bit with the scroll. Is it zooming in properly? Are you getting the zoom on the recording? Right? On the stream. Right? So I thought it was control did the box. Yeah. Right? So looking at these, We need some folders here to organize these a little bit. There's some abstract classes, right? I forget, is it... No, what is it? Is it Control-Alt? I can't do Control-Alt from here, unless I do that. No. Is it Control-Shift? Well, that did text. I gotta tinker with it. It does look good zooming in. Okay. We need some folders here to organize this a little bit, because there's some base objects. I mean, I guess I can do just a little bit of grooming of this, right? Add a new folder. Fixtures. And I can start to put some of these in there like that and that. That's a good one. Not that one. Not that one. That one. Not that one. Yep, go ahead. That's fine. And yeah. And no, that's not the one I wanted. Add another folder. And let's call this abstractions. And we'll put you in there, yes. And we'll put this one in there as well. Yeah. And let's create another folder. And this is, I want to put a folder for the navigation extensions. Let's call it just navigation. And then I can just rename this and just call this posts. Because we don't actually refer to this class anywhere. So that gives me just a little bit more organization. I should probably add a README that explains what these folders are. Line is shift, rectangle is control, ellipse is tab, arrow is control and shift. I was trying to do control and shift. Right. So control and shift. Ah, there. Okay, now it is. Right, so... Yeah, and the thing is, I so infrequently use Zoom It, I'm going to forget it. Saramo, hello, welcome. Zoom It now ships with Power Toys. And it's really easy to use. So... yeah, let's put a little README down in this folder. README MD, right? I didn't spell it right. You stink. You stink. You stink like my cat. What? Right? Yeah. Actually, is there a README up here? There is. Open VS Code here. Let's take a look. Man, I love that cool purple in Visual Studio Code. That's fine. What? Dude, are you serious? Are you doing... No. SharpSite, E to E. 2E. This is the first end-to-end testing project for SharpSite. It uses XUnit and Playwright to exercise the application. Yeah. And ensure things are working properly. No, what did you do? No. Let's define the folder structure just so folks know what the heck is going on in here. Oh, wait a second. I can still do this. There are 3 main folders in use inside this project. Period. These define the different C# capabilities that we need in order to execute tests using Playwright. The folders are : new line, new line, new line. Right, and we can look at the markdown and make sure we're doing this right. I don't. Abstractions contains the resources that we reuse across multiple tests. Fixtures contains the test classes. Navigation contains extra classes that help with navigating the website. Cool. To enable different C# capabilities. No. Good. That's fine. All right. So we got a little bit of a definition around that. Yeah, the different colors in Zoom it. You have another question, says Mythin. It's more about .NET website web app building. Let's say your API requires authentication, so your endpoints require some information about the current user. Would I rather use a method in my base controller that retrieves the needed information from the database? Would you rather create a context object that acts as an auth object? First off, you're going to put authenticate on that stuff, and it's going to authenticate for you. And then you can just reference the base user directly. You don't need that, right? Inside of a controller, you can just do user dot, and it will give you the user object. If you need more information about the user, I would inject a user manager and use that. So, is AI typing what I'm saying out loud? Yes, yes it is. Well, it's not AI, it's a transcriber, right? All right, so we have create post tests here that logs in, goes to the create post page, fills in the form and submits it. Create a post with a date in the past. That's great. I need to do this and then delete it. So I'm going to copy it, and we're going to create. I don't think I need that on this because I have it. Right, I put it on this. Yeah. Okay.
And then?
No, and then. So let's create another class here. Public class. Delete post tests. What do we got? Sky! No, he's not helping with this. Yeah. That looks like a pretty good start. Looks like a pretty good start. Let's move you to another file. There we go. Right, and now I can go to delete post. Delete post tests. Thank you. Post title. Let's call this delete test post to delete. So it's clear that we get the whole thing there. Ads have kicked in for the next 2 minutes. Yeah, it might use AI somewhere in the process. Is my database mocked in tests, or am I going against a real database? Ah, Tommy with a very good question here. Yes and no. This is an integration test. In this case, I am going against a real database. However, when the test runs, it starts up a Postgres database, a real Postgres database. It stands up a single-use database volume using Docker. It scaffolds the database. It applies all my database migrations. So then I end up with a clean, empty database that has all the configuration that I expect for my application. And then I'm running against a live database. So it's not really test containers. So because I'm using .NET Aspire, right, I wrote some features, and you're welcome to download and look at the source code. I wrote some features into my app host so that I can test, I can pick up, hey, I'm running in test mode. And when you go to add Postgres, if we are in test mode,
and then
we're going to create it, and I'm not specifying a persistent data volume. So it will clean up and delete that data volume after. And all my database migration tests run, and it effectively stands up a brand new instance of the entire application every time the integration tests run. This way, I know when the end-to-end tests run, it's doing the exact same things that somebody would do when they wanted to install and run the website. So there is no repository. And at some point, I could set this up with some seed data, right, that specifically configures the website so that it's somewhere further down the line, right? It's an existing website that has 100 blog posts out there and a half dozen pages. Now run tests on maintaining and managing that type of website. We can do that at some point. What does that look like? How do we seed and set up that type of data? That might be another set of end-to-end tests that we add and deliver in the future. Is that a Postgres feature? No, that is not a Postgres feature. The, where'd it go?
Oh my.
Where'd it go? Where is it? Add Postgres services. This is something we wrote. This right here with data volume, that's a container feature as part of .NET Aspire. When you specify data volume, it knows where to place the database so that it gets persisted on disk. If you don't say with data volume, there you go, we want to take a look at that, go ahead. If you don't say that, it creates a disk, a volume on disk, and deletes it after Aspire shuts down. So, there it is. My Pong Retro Stripe hat. There you go. So, you can take a look at that source code and how I do that. SharpSite source code is freely available. I know there's other ways that Aspire wants you to write tests, and I'll be tinkering with them over the next few days, and we might change how we approach this. But for right now, this works great. You didn't notice the hat. Oh, Stacy. You need to get your Lego 2600 built. Ooh. You have a Lego Atari 2600? Oh, that would be so much fun to build. The fine folks who run the Sveitog conference it gave us as a speaker gift a Lego set of orchids. Was that what it was? Orchids? Last year, I put together Lego with my wife. I planned to put together those orchids with her. We've been kind of busy and doing a couple other things, and we're going to be putting that together any day now. You're cleaning up databases as well for test instances, but we only do it once a day. So this cleans it up immediately. When the test is done, delete the volume. Does test container not integrate well with Expire? Haven't tried it. But why have a test container when you can just have the whole container? Just have the real container. Like, I've got the real service sitting here. Like, all right. Let me go back over there to my delete post test. Let's look at this. Because the code that I did have was post title, login as default admin, navigate to create post. Title, click into it, fill it in, and add some content. Click the save button, wait for it. Expect that cell to be visible. I'm going to add some spaces here. Just so that it's a little bit clearer when we go to read this, what it's doing. Right? Now on the the post page. So it's going to make sure that the post actually appears. We're going to look for a cell, and then we're going to find with the post title, and we're going to get a button in there and click it. No. This is where I'm a little unsure what's going on. I want to find a delete button on the row with that post and click that delete button. How am I sure that I delete the right button? How am I sure I find and click the right delete button? That I'm going to want to step through a little bit here. Expect cell expect that post is not visible. Yeah, there we go. That's a good assert here, right? This is the act, right? This is the assert, and this is the arrange up here. Create a post to delete. And if there's other tests that I would write in here, I would pull the create this step here. I would pull this out into an internal method to share. But that looks good. That looks like. So I need to figure out what these steps look like, because it's not entirely clear what those things are. What if you have hundreds of database migrations and it'll take a couple minutes to create a new empty database? So what? End-to-end tests that you're executing, and if you have a couple of hundred migrations, you've got a lot of tests out there. You've got a lot going on inside your application. The assurance that you're getting by running against all of those things being applied properly is a very good thing. I would at some point, there's a way to refactor and compress all of those migrations down so you have one or two of them to reset that state. I forget how you do it, but there is a way to kind of refactor them so that you have a known good state, right? Like maybe you snap to a version from 2024, right? Hey, we did a release in 2024. Let's make that the snapshot version of our database that we're going to scaffold from, and we don't need to keep all the scaffolding instructions going back to 2018. Sure. Then you're just setting up that one instance, and you're only applying then maybe a dozen migrations, and you're simplifying that database update process. You might have a very large database that you're testing against. That's okay too. Right? Then doing something like test containers, grabbing and creating a snapshot of your database and referencing and using that might be a little bit better to use in test scenarios. And in that case, right, I would update, right, if I go back to my Postgres extensions, right, I would update here so that instead of it adding, saying add Postgres with image tag, I would change the container name. I would say add Postgres. You can change the right. You can change the image name here and swap out, so it's not necessarily using Postgres, right? But maybe it's using right, snapshot of my production or my test database, so that you have that snapshot available and you're just restoring from that image that somebody has stored off to the side. You can absolutely do that if you want, and optimize that process a little bit. We're early in the development of this, so we'll step into this a little bit more. We could add a data attribute to the delete button like that. Real integration tests are 100% worth the time. Absolutely. I'm not familiar with Respawn. How you doing, McNets? Hello. So I need to figure out what this looks like, and putting some sort of data ID on the delete button, not a bad idea. Right, so right, right, so we're looking for a button with a name, yeah, with a name delete. What else do we have here? What else? Wrong button. Wrong key. I could say no. How do I check for the attribute? That data attribute. A dummy API endpoint. Why? For integration testing. Okay. There was somebody I was watching, another Twitch streamer, who wrote a little bit of AI code that would look at specifications from a document somewhere online and would generate a proxy class for you to connect and use that service. It feels like there's probably a way to do something similar, where have a little bit of AI look at, here's my API to interact with this other service, mock that service, generate a mock service of that I can spin up in .NET Aspire and interact with. I kind of like that idea. I kind of like that idea. Does that exist with OpenAPI Docs? OpenAPI Docs allows you to test and interact with and generate a client. If you have a RESTful service, a RESTful client already built to go work with somebody else's endpoint, I want to work with the Twitter endpoint. How do you work with the Twitter endpoint without actually calling Twitter? Jimmy Bogard's Respawn project. Intelligent database cleaner. Ah, there you go. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that looks like another good solution to the test database problem. You might find a cell with a given title and then search for a delete button inside. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Right. Not edit. I want to delete. Yeah, link is fine. And make sure that it's complete and let's build that feature. Let's go start building that feature. That's going to be in my web project. It's going to be in the post list. I have a quick grid and I have a property column with the publish date, so I need to add another template column here that has delete buttons in it, and that's going to be a link. Right, so we can just start that here. I don't need a title on this one because it's a series of actions here. Ooh, that's pretty darn close. Pretty darn close. Why are we getting red lines? Because delete post doesn't exist. Fine, create that. Now, async task. Come on now. Yeah, delete post. I already wrote the task part. What are you doing? Yes. Right. Context is a post. Yes. Delete post output cache store. I don't have an output cache store yet. And that takes a slug. There we go. Now, that's actually not doing it's not doing a reload. It's more of a button press. But I want it to look like a hyperlink. Right. Can I do right button link? It'll look like it, but it's still a button. And we're going to need to create the... Do I have a delete? I don't... No. I do have a delete. Okay. Catching up with chat. How you doing there? Gamer Hard Dev. Any tips for you looking to create an AI web app which takes users' current resume and job description, then it will tailor it according to the job post and output a ATS passing resume with common keywords from job description? That sounds like something you can already do with Copilot. Like, I think that's a Copilot thing already. I have some reservations ethically for what you might be doing there. What you're attempting to write there isn't hard. You're going to use a lot of tokens to analyze someone's resume and go through it. You're going to use a lot of tokens to do that. But I don't want a CSS selector. If you use CSS selectors, you're going to end up being trapped in that construction, in that having that syntax. A gamer hard dev, hooking up to something OpenAI, an Ollama installation is pretty easy to do. I would be building and testing locally with .NET Aspire, where you can install a copy of Ollama locally, and you can test and tweak and tune your prompts to your heart's delight. Building the rest of that user interface shouldn't be too hard to do, and quite frankly, Copilot should help you generate most of that. You should be able to put that site together. The trick is going to be building the prompts for the AI and making sure that you have a good system prompt that configures, here's what you want from it. You're also going to want to make sure that you prevent folks from escaping out of your resume that's uploaded and execute whatever ulterior commands against your AI engine. You're going to need to protect against that, right? It's almost like SQL injection, but it's like AI prompt injection. That's a thing. So, doable. You can do a lot of that, like I said, already with Copilot. I think a tool like .NET Aspire, even if you're not working with .NET, using .NET Aspire to stand up an Ollama instance and allow you to get connection string information passed into your Python application, your Django application, your Express application, your .NET application, whatever it is you might be building with whatever language, is going to get you a long way to being able to work locally and have something that you can test and work with locally easier than trying to stitch it together by hand and making sure everything's working. So, I don't even know what this looks like. Like, let's start this, take a look at what it looks like, and go through it. I do have a couple of requests out there for channel point redemptions from a few days ago that we need to go back and do, like Viking font and a Thanos voice mod. I've got an extra parenthesis here. Yeah, you. Go away. Rerun it. So, how you doing over there on YouTube, friends? Good to see you. So, the new bot that I'm writing does integrate directly with YouTube. It will pick up and listen and be on the in the YouTube channel, unlike the current chatbot that's only in Twitch. So you will be able to send commands in when the new bot is running from YouTube also. So that was something important for me to get correct. And we're also going to have interactions with Discord from the chatbot. So that's a thing that's coming. That looks ugly. Dear Lord. What did you do, Fritz? Get rid of that. I saved. Would you like to hot reload for me? There it is. That's better. So it is still a button down there. And it should be doing the delete. So let's create a first post. And another post. And I'll just call this delete me. Here's some text. Right? Save that. There we go. And if I click delete, it didn't do anything. Why didn't it do anything? Post service, delete post. Yeah. It should have jumped into this. I did a control F12. That's not control. Oh, that's why. There it is. First or default where the slug matches. That's going to be an issue. That's going to be an issue. This isn't interactive. We need to make this server interactive. Interactive server. All right, that looks like it refreshed. Hey, there we go. Yeah. So that should finish, and it did. Cool. Easy. Let's go back over to... Where'd it go? Delete post test. Let's get rid of some of these other ones, shall we? I'll leave the readme. Get by role. Nah, it's a button. And we should see it run. Okay. Let's give this a try. Build and test. Right? Here we go. Ad starts in 3 minutes. So, yeah, I don't want to create a selector, but I like using the arias so that we're looking for something that does this thing. Not necessarily a CSS class, not necessarily a specific tag, but looking for, right, that aria. What's the meaning? What does this thing do that we're looking for? We can carry those around our application, even if we do change it from an anchor to a button to whatever else. The way! Hello, welcome. Appreciate the leet spelling of the way. How you doing there? It's running our test now. Are we gonna get through this? Ooh. Ooh. Did we get it? Did we get it? I'd really like to get it. No, didn't get it. Take a look. We have one test failed of 10. This is looking for test post to delete. Didn't find it. Let me go delete this first, which I believe is hiding under this. Right there. Clean that up. All right, so we're waiting for test post to delete. Oh, wait a sec. It's on this cell. Hang on. That's a table cell. We need to go up to the row. And actually, yeah. Can we do parent? No. Or ancestor? I'd really like this to be a little bit wider here, friend. Inner value is checked. Is last locator. Yeah. So maybe I do need some sort of a... Oh, I could do it with an ARIA label on it, right? On here. Let's put that on click. And, right, I could do... Right? And then put the, where is it? Context, slug. Nah, context title. Right? In which case... It's a button. And I'm going to look for delete space. Right, and we'll do post title. See if that works now. Run it again. Need null ref check. Hello. You watch Nick's video on .NET Aspire. Do I agree that this is the path forward for how Microsoft would like modern web development to happen? I don't know if it's how Microsoft would like modern web dev to happen. I think that it is the way that you should want to build. I have the wrong page there. Darn it. I think when we look at how development has evolved, you're not just building a standalone application. You're not just on a 3270 terminal connecting into a mainframe and writing directly on the server what's going to run there. Building websites, building applications that connect and interact with multiple services that are managed. No, we're not. We're not on a 3270. Sorry. Building and interacting with those... oh, darn. With those multiple services is tricky. It's hard. Managing and giving you a good development experience, interacting with all of those things, is something that folks struggle with. How can we do that better? In my opinion, that's where .NET Aspire helps out, bringing that opinionated approach. And I'm so glad that it's an opinionated approach. Instead of the .NET, hey, just do whatever you want to do. We're going to enable all the things and not really have an opinion. Go do what you like. I like that we're getting a little assertive with, we think this is a good way to do things. And folks embracing and saying, yeah, I like that. Let's go move forward. What I'm not looking forward to is the day when the .NET Aspire open source alternative pops up. Oh, we don't like the way that .NET Aspire does foo. It doesn't... gosh, the way it does service location is awful. That's stupid. I don't like that. We want to do it somewhere else. And they decide to build something completely different and call it, I don't know, .NET Demure, whatever it is. I don't know. And that other thing happens. .NET Aspire is so flexible and pluggable that you can bend it, change it, adapt it to work the way that you work. And we're literally on V1.1 right now. Like, even though it's Aspire 9 and there's a 9.1 coming out, we're like on version 1.1 and version 1.2 is about to come out. Like, when you really get down to brass tacks, it's early in the process. Is it something that is going to help make your job easier? Yes. Should you use it by default when building applications? My belief is yes. Is it the way Microsoft wants you to? I can't speak for Microsoft on that. But I can tell you that it makes enabling and building applications so much easier. And as the tooling gets better, as it grows, as we get more features, more capabilities, man, it's going to be even better. You have a hard time getting people to even use Docker? Don't tell them they're using Docker. Tell them they're using Aspire. After they're excited about what it delivers, then tell them it's using Docker. You're welcome, null ref check. resolve to 2 elements. Which one is this? Yeah, what line? You're not going to tell me what line. Strict mode violation. Get by role cell. Name test post in the past. Resolve to 2 elements. And delete test post in the past. No. Oh. Get the cell. That should have... No, that's over in create posts. Create post with date in the past. Create post with date in the past. Should be exact true. Like, I said exact equals true. Like, that's the whole point of saying exact. It's not on the cell. It's on the button. Let's see. Right, here. Yeah. Get by role. Can we... Where'd it go? Back to the post list. Right, if I do that... And actually it was a lowercase d on that, right? Yeah. Seriously? Right, like that. Do it again. Any cool new features of Aspire for .NET 10 coming up? I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that, and you know that. It doesn't help that we need to jump through hoops to even install update Docker on work machines. That's annoying. Do I know about dev containers? Yes. Do I have a video on them? No. Dev containers are really neat feature that allow you to effectively have your own GitHub code space running locally. Everything that you need to work on a project is installed and running inside of a container, and Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio is connected to that container and is effectively running everything for your development workspace inside a container. Really neat. There's ways to set up so that you can develop inside a dev container. It's a configuration file or two that you add to a project, and then inside of Visual Studio Code, there's a little button at the bottom that you can use then. This thing that will show you that there's a container available, a container configuration available. You can click that and it opens and gives you a complete development environment attached to that container. right now, .NET Aspire doesn't support running in dev containers, and we've heard that request. Yeah. Okay. So what's the error we got here? It looks like it's another mismatch where, hey, I found something and I don't know if I should use it or not. Even though I said exact. Exact equals true. Exact equals true. Like, where'd it go? Shoot. There's a method to make slugs, and I forget where it is. Get slug. In SharpSite abstractions. Yeah. And this is... I should be able to reference that from here. That shouldn't be an issue to do. Yeah. So I should be able to say post.getSlug around that. Right. Get slug. Now I need to put the using statement. Show me what you got here. Your eyes are heavy. Do you think it's time to cook for the family? Have a good one, Stacy. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Always great to hang out with you. Have a good conversation. Let's see what we get here. Have I worked on any Orleans projects? Asked the way. I haven't. My good friend Brady Gaster has, and he keeps encouraging me and saying that I need to do more with Orleans. Abstractions doesn't what? What? It does. It does. It says it built. Really? No. It's there. Clean this, John. No. Did it just like not save the project file? It didn't save the project file. Run the build. Run the test. Here we go. In the create post in the past, I'm missing exact. Stand by. Where? Create post. Oh! That's what you meant by it's folded. Oh. So that's going to fail. Darn it. Thank you, Burn MTA. Ah, gosh. Hey, that worked. How'd that work? Do it again. The secret has been unfolded. You're struggling to come up with use cases in which the actor model would be helpful. The actor model might be interesting when we get to Project Charlie. New chatbot. Might be interesting. For now, though, I'm sorry I don't. Brady has a really cool demo called Rock, Paper, Orleans, where he sets up a series of bots to play rock, paper, scissors, and they communicate with each other using Orleans. I don't know if that demo is publicly available, but he's shown it at a number of events. So, there we go. Looks like it works. Let's add the end folder. No, I don't want...
Oh my.
I know. End-to-end solution. I don't want that. What else do we have here? Yeah, that's good. Added test and delete button on post list. So, right, we're simultaneously adding more tests, adding more features, and we can be assured that this is going to work. This is $2.99. So let's create a pull request for that. Hey, that's the right place to go. Thanks so much. We're going to put that into the 07 branch here. That's not what we're doing. Added delete post button. Fixes $2.99. Give me a summary. Go ahead, Copilot. Give me a summary. Here we go. I should make an alias so that Clara also clears the console. Yeah. Reorganizes the folder structure, adding new test functionality, renaming files and namespaces, adding a test for deleting posts. I'm just going to get rid of all the rest of this nonsense. Create the pull request. There we go. No conflicts. It's going to run the tests. There they are. And we should see this all ready to go. I'm going to go over to $2.99. I started introducing a fixes label over here. Fixed next milestone. So I'll mark it as fixed next milestone so that when that milestone goes in, everything's done. So, and we can see those actions over here doing their thing. The .NET tests should run and be done very quickly. So, and then we'll roll over and get back to working on the startup experience. So there it is, running the unit tests. Bang, 16 of them done in 222 milliseconds. That's fast. That's fast. So, love seeing that. Good. And we should be able to see playwright tests. And if we've built everything correctly, this should run properly here on GitHub as well. And then we'll do some Viking font and turn on Thanos here.
Junie_von_s just resubscribed for 48 months. Push button, boop and no semicolons.
Hello, my friend. That's our friend Junie Von Esch. How you doing? 48 months. Thank you so much for that support. I really appreciate it. Junie's been doing more creative streams recently. You can find her on weekends over on her channel, doing some very cool. She's been doing some crochet work, making all kinds of fun things. I for some reason I've stumbled onto on TikTok as I'm scrolling through TikToks. I've been running into there we go, all the tests passed. I've been running into these folks who are building weird stuff that you shouldn't make with yarn. Like a morning star. What? Literally, right? It's a morning star, right? It's a heavy weight on the end of a chain of yarn, and what? And somebody made a sword. I'm like, what? Yeah, that's a thing. All right, so all of our tests passed and ran properly, so I don't want to compare changes. I want to do the pull request. So now we can delete posts. Fantastic. Merge that into 07. And boom goes the dynamite. All right. Next. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to mark this as fixed in the next milestone. Developers. Hello. Thank you so much. NGX Samurai. How you doing? Strangling yarn to make weapons. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. Need to be able to delete a page. Don't really need anything there. This is more of an enhancement. And I'm not going to schedule this one just yet. So, all right. Back to this milestone. So these are marked as fixed. I'm not going to work on that. So I am down in this. You can sit, well, I don't have that feature built yet, but you can specify a name for the site now. A logo for the site, I don't have that yet. Maybe let's jump back over to the code, see what we've got. Kind of merge and catch up on stuff. I'm going to go back to the 07. I am going to pull in the updated changes. Thank you so much. We're going to, what is it? Feature, delete post, get rid of that branch. We don't need that anymore. Let's check out feature, out of the box. And let's merge all those changes that we made. Thank you. And now we can go through and resume this. Now, the out-of-the-box experience, if we put up some sort of a splash screen that says, hey, you're not configured yet, let's create your first user, let's get a name for your website, and then we're going to start encouraging folks to define, to choose a theme, to choose how files are stored, so on and so forth. That process, we might not want to test with our end-to-end testing library. We were just talking about this. We might have several states of the application where we want to test that state independently of testing this other state over here. So the tests that we've built at this point are mostly, hey, the site's already been configured. Go execute creating posts. we're probably going to need a separate test suite that is, okay, test configuring, test first time configuring the website, right? Tethys, how you doing there? Do I know any other version control systems besides GitHub? GitLab, Bitbucket. Well, if you're talking about online systems, those are the other two big ones that folks use. So, that was fun. There was a happy sound there. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, that's cool. So I think we're going to need another set of end-to-end tests that run and use it as a feature flag. Yes. Right? So that, hey, you are already configured for these. And then, hey, you're fresh out of the box. Turn on the feature of interactions and doing that first configuration. And then step through it, darn it. Now, those two sets of tests should be able to run in parallel, thanks to .NET Aspire. Should be able to run in parallel. That's a pretty cool thing. So I'm not going to go down setting up an entire separate test yet. Let's turn on Thanos mode and start looking at inserting a full screen splash screen that starts up a wizard to get you started with SharpSite. Yeah. Where's my voice mod? Get that voice mod set up. We're gonna knock this down here. Which one's voice mod? This one. I'm gonna move this over here somewhere. Let's do a little voice mod with Thanos. Why didn't you respond? There it goes.
Oh yes. We're back. 5 minutes of the Mad Titan. Talking to you about .NET. Yeah, that's a thing. Alright. Let's see. Yes. Use those emotes. Go ahead. Show it. If we're going to insert a splash screen, a get started screen, we should check for that at startup. And we can use a filter for this. Aha. Yes. Okay. I think yeah. We'll insert a filter. And I'm gonna create a child folder here. No, we'll do it at the let's call this startup. Right, for the first config stuff. Yes. Get that golden boy unloaded out here. Golden boy? What? That's right. Golden boy with the butt face. Do I have an empty one? No. we're going to want an empty layout. Let's do that one real quick. Right? Do one of these. Empty layout. Resume. Not quite. I mean, not terrible, but and of course it's the layout component base. Well, I got that right. Zoom in a little bit so you can actually see what I'm doing. Ads are running. What? There is no content. There is only Zoom. That's right. No. Just a body. That's it. And in startup, I could have a startup layer, couldn't I? Right? No, let's do that. I don't need empty anywhere else. Let's get rid of you. Yes, goodbye. Alright, try this again. Startup, layout, bristle. Okay, do that again. Inherits. No. Layout component base. Alright. Center content in the middle of the screen. No. No. What the heck? Really? I don't know what Copilot thinks it's doing, but that's not right. No, it's not a page. Try this again. Center this div and its contents in the center of the screen. Show me how to center a div. You're taking this long. Yeah, that works. Sure. Alright. We're done with the voice mod.
Alright. But we do need to do Viking font. That's hanging out there for us to do. Where's the music? There it is. We'll go to Viking font. And have some fun with this for a little bit, and then we'll set up a homepage, a filter, so that if you aren't configured, we can go and set this up. So we'll create that feature flag. Where are we here? I need to do the font. Yes. Thank you. I don't know where it was finding all that other nonsense. Come on now. Viking font, and I warn you now, it's ugly. But it looks so formal. Software CDN on YouTube has a question. Which version of Blazor should I read up on? As I wanted to use the Blazor web view in that WebForms app. Not sure how to structure the Blazor app that'll be hosted in the WebForms app. you're going to want to read up on something called Blazor Hybrid. And take a look at those approaches. Which is most similar to Blazor Server, Blazor Interactive Server. Thank you for the follow. And Junie wants us to do light mode. What? And light mode. Fine. And we lost the font. That's a bug. Because they specifically said, hey, it remembers your font when you change themes. No, it doesn't. You just saw it. But that was a bug they said they had addressed. And it didn't. So, we'll get that filed. You have over 223,000 points to spend. So why not have some fun points? Should we do a community goal to collect channel points and have me do a stream in a costume? I need to give you more ways to use channel points is what I'm hearing. Superman? No, we don't have Superman. So this should center. Okay. And I'm going to add an imports in this folder. Right, so we'll do that. Imports. And thank you. And I'm going to say layout, startup, layout. And we should get that now. Oh, wait a sec. We're going to need to put a layout in here as well. Otherwise, it's going to pick up and you want me to do Thanos again. Look, the requests are strong right now. I get it. I do. Viking font, and you want more Thanos.
How about now? Go ahead, throw me off my game. Bring it. Let's see. Let's see. So let's add another one here. And let's call this step 1. Can't really hear me clearly? I get it. I do. And that's part of the fun. Right? Not phone, fun. It isn't. The captions are wrong. But the closed captions are working. Alright. So I should probably inject application state. Really? Why did I put a comment? What's with the comment? Welcome to your new website. This is SharpSite, a fun and friendly website management tool designed to be easy and help you create a website that you can be proud of. Sure, that's fun. I'm okay with that. So, you might do a channel point redeem, have some of your code reviewed? Sure, you can do that. And then redeem hamsters so that you can't take me seriously. Really? Really? Let's go into here. Indicates whether the application state has been initialized from the application state file. Really, Surly? Really? Let's think. So we need a little bit of a feature flag, right? So a feature flag should be like, has been through startup, right? Startup completed. And we could do something here. Startup completed. Right? How the heck do I read this? Startup completed. Yes. Okay. I think that's right. Yeah. So in here, I'll add uninitialized. No. No. Really? On initial. Really? Uninitialized. No. My screen is bugged. Oh no, it's not a feature at all. It's pain.
But that's okay, because we were in Thanos mode, and this is awful to read and interact with. But Visual Studio here, that's... What are you doing here? Sure. I don't need to call load. I'm also going to need the navigation manager. Sure. No, that's not it. If not, app state dot... No. Yeah, if app state startup completed. Dear Lord. No, don't navigate to admin. Go to the root of the website. Now, why doesn't... Yeah. Uninitialized async. Now, why don't you like that? Override async task. it didn't put the... I couldn't tell that it didn't put the things on it. That moment when even the Copilot AI is trolling you, yeah, that is painful. So painful. What the hell? And why is this? I can't even see the mouse. Yeah. All right. Now, I want to create a filter that says if startup is not completed, redirect to this page, right? And this is, we'll set this up as a page. No, it's not /admin.
Oh my.
I know. Actually, step 1. So we did a thing with the router.
Squirrel!
Where? Right? We did a thing. Where we set up. Where did it go? Dear Lord. Map Racer components, add additional assemblies, activate plugin manager, use output cache. Like, we did a thing where some of the internal pages are on shorter URLs. Yeah, you're trying to squirrel too much here. Oh, and you want T-Pain now, huh? You want T-Pain? It says it's playing it. Five minutes of T-Pain. Oh, yeah. Router Razor. Did I put it in there? I don't think so. No. I did a thing. Where I said, like, it's like on display posts. Yeah, that there's a number before the post and display page has at least 5 characters. So that I can put surface stuff like admin pages on a shorter location somewhere. So if I put these under, I could call it start, right? Start. What is this? No, go away. Or setup. And it's still like admin is, it's under admin, but no, we're okay because it's an additional one there. I think I'm okay with that. All right. So setup, and then I can do start. Let's do start. Right, because it's that first start. We're doing Viking fun. Oh my gosh. Get rid of that. Turn that off. Get me back to Cascadia Mono. How am I? I'm being trolled. That's how I am. Now I can read again. Oh my gosh. How you doing, Guile? You sent me a DM? Hope we can chat. take a peek. Let's talk later. So I'm on East Coast time. Let's talk later. Appreciate the outreach. Yeah. So. Okay, so on initialize. Yeah. So if startup has been completed, exit, go. Oh, and I'm out of light lamp too? Oh my goodness. Get me back to that other theme. Tools, theme, dark mode. Nice. Continuing. Okay, so I want to build a filter so that if start mode hasn't happened, route over here and you're not allowed anywhere else. Let's do that. It's a filter. Just do it as middleware. I don't need to do a filter. Yeah. Here we go. I can mark that as done. All right. Program. All right. So. Build, redirection, configure plugin. At some point in here, it gets. There's the plugin manager, and it gets app state. Where's app state? Right? Add plugin manager and app state, right? It's been forever since I built this. Okay. New application stage. I don't think it actually loads it. But activate plugin manager here. App state load. There it is. So after this is when we have to insert this filter that'll dump people out. Oh, we're doing T-Pain mode too. All right, I'm back. Let's get back to full screen code so we can do some of this. There it is. Beginner question, not a problem. Happy to answer beginner questions there. Is it DDIN? Would it be worth it to focus learning computer science in the foundation despite all these AI development tools? Yes. Yes, it would be, because the AI is only going to do so much for you. I don't think we're going to get a reliable agentic experience where, and this is exactly what folks are trying to do. Say, hey, build me a website that allows me to collect recipes, store them with pictures, and present them on screen with a searchable repository. That's not going to generate for you a complete website that does all the things that you want. The fact of the matter is, even if we do get to an agentic experience like that, where there's an agent that goes and does a whole bunch of construction for you, and reviews and audits, and assembles that for you, even if we get there, you've moved the computer language authoring experience, website application authoring experience from using C# to using text that and language that you're dictating, and you've just moved the program experience from here to there. Yes, it's more accessible to more folks, but you're still going to need to learn the keywords and the principles to build and deliver that site, that application. So learning a little bit of computer science foundation, you won't have to, you probably won't have to do algorithms if you're building applications, but you will need to know things like how a distributed system connects and works with each other. How does that work? If you build a mobile application, how does it connect and work with and store data somewhere on your hosted service out there? Like, there's a thing that you need to understand as a little bit of basis for that. You can get there. A lot of these topics are going to be very good for you. They're going to help you as a developer. Don't be focused on learning all the AI things yet. The tools, as you've seen me using Copilot here, they're not there yet where you're going to say, hey, I don't need to actually know C# or Python or JavaScript. They're not there yet. We're probably a long ways from that being a reality. Okay, so I have application state here. I do need to map Razor components. I do want these things, actually, I don't want you to have yet. I do want request localization. I do need that. I will need the file API. So after this, I'm not going to be doing map fallback. I do want to do a map though. Right, so map allows you, to search for a pattern and provide a handler and decide what to do. So these tools will only be good for building a minimum viable product for now. No. Thank you for the follow. No. That's Copilot. That's an AI suggesting to me what to do there. Let's ask let's ask Copilot what to do with this. I'll start by writing a little bit of a comment here. If app state dot startup if that is false, then the application is in setup mode. Route all requests to pages. Route all Blazor requests to pages in the start structure, starting with /start step 1. I don't know if that's right. No, I don't want to. I want to match everything outside of start. Allow requests to /start Yes. Map when starts with segment / start. I think this is what we wanted. Use routing, use endpoints, and interactive server render mode. Add that. I think so. AI generated this code. We're in ads here. Let's delete that. Move up here. Right? Otherwise, just let it through. So, yeah, if a request comes through going to start, then we're going to present that content. It's already calling use routing somewhere else. I don't need that. Otherwise, let it pass through. Let's see if that works. So I'm not in minimal viable here, but I am using the tool, right? Those agentic tools that will give you a little bit of an experience, they're not going to get you a complete application. Uh-oh. That's in startup layout. Fine. I'm worried about this one. Okay, loading. Starting, there we go. So it should give me my startup page. Oh, wait, I did the map when on that. Yeah, look. Error! Endpoint routing middleware matches endpoints set up by blah, 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 so must be added to the routing execution. I thought I had. Oh no, I don't need the use endpoints bits. This can be app. Yeah, go. What? Fine, roll it back. Show me you're so smart. Here we go. Like, I was looking at using one of those tools to generate what's going to be the lower third design for the Q&A interactions the new bot provides. Yeah, see, now I'm... That doesn't exist. But if I go to start step 1, well, that doesn't go there either. Well, now we've got a problem. Right? Start step 1, yeah. That... I don't think... Hang on. Clear this out. when it does not start with those segments. I do still need the... No. Oh, come on. All right. When it does not start with that... That's the application builder. And then what to do with the configuration. Right, so I want to do something like... And I want to do like redirect. Like redirect back in. Redirect to start step 1. Oh, and the application's running. I have to stop. Otherwise, Copilot kind of gets confused. And I need one of these here. Get rid of that. Where the hell did you go? There it goes. All right. Which means this needs one of these. Not with metadata. What the heck is with metadata doing there? No. Okay. Yeah. So give me a redirect. Really? That's not a thing. You can't do that. No. I could do builder.run and force you back over there. Right? That'll work. For a 3D file of SharpSite, you can test this one. What is that? Image to 3D asset. Interesting. All right, so click into here, and page isn't redirected too many times. Redirected too many times. Come on. This Stream Deck is not responding. Get rid of that. Try it again. Yeah, I need to restart that because I changed something in startup. Starting the website. There it is. Are you loading? I'd like you to be loading. It's not loading. Says it's running. Nope. Nope. It's not running, boss. Do I have this in the wrong place? Run it again. 2D to 3D generator tool. I thought I hit start. Let's go. All right. Did it go somewhere? Mm-hmm. Eat the broke. Need to go to startup. Restart though. There we go. Did we do something like this in Tags app? Write a little bit of middleware that will redirect you to a startup experience. Yee. Reach the end of the endpoint without executing the endpoint. Okay. It wants endpoint middleware use endpoints if using routing. I'm completely blanking on how to do this. Thank you for the follow. Did I do something like this in... No, not that. In Tags app. I think I did. Yeah, config middleware. Yeah. And that's injected. Where is it? Startup config middleware. No. Mm-hmm. Could I redirect 404 to start step 1? That's a bad idea. Startup config middleware. Add an invoke. If we're gonna trigger Copilot, this middleware should intercept requests, and if app state is not configured, should redirect to the start/step 1 location. Yeah. Really? We're gonna go through this, huh? Oh boy. Sure. We can do that. Right. Set up a primary constructor here. Ba-ba. Application state. And since you're not doing anything today, Copilot, exit now if the app is already configured. Yes. No, I want to say if startup is not completed and the path does not start with start, JavaScript or CSS, let's also allow images through, shall we? What the heck? Context, request, path, value contains. Thank you. Right now, I should be able to go back up in here. Use middleware, startup config middleware. See if that works. Right now, we've pushed all the logic for that into another class, and we can move that class somewhere else. And it isn't soiling our program CS. Or not. You know. Redirecting for first start. Okay, so it's trying to redirect, but context response redirect /start/step 1, which should be here. But for some reason, it's not loading. I have a feeling. I'm getting wrapped up in that layout issue. Just delete it. Try it again. Right, I think it's reloading the layout and getting confused. Like the layout is referencing the layout is referencing the layout. All right, so there it is. Stepping, and now it's hitting it again. Context request path. Blazor WebJS, that's fine. Okay. Right, I'm on the wrong layout. It was the layout issue. All right. Let's do this. Stop that. Let's move this up here. Yes, that's fine. So then I can make this layout. And I should get the startup layout with things centered and move to the middle here. Last time when I was doing the admin page, I ended up placing layout in layouts directory due to some magic. Yeah, the imports, where it's going to default and add the same layout to all the pages, was kind of referencing itself. Yeah, there we go. Right? So H1 and then a paragraph. Those should be on separate lines. Really? 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 Display flex, line item center, height 100. And why isn't it putting the paragraph on? Right, if I make this a div. No. Display block. Flex direction. Yeah. Yeah. That's better. Yep. So now I don't need that, and I can make this a paragraph again. Div-centered content. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, thinking brain, you're right. You were right. Would I want us to open a PR if you built some plugin, or how should we present them to you? Start with an issue. Start with an issue so that we know that it's coming. I think if it's a system plugin, let's do a PR. Right, and the system plugin would be like we built a file system plugin so that it would write to the metal. A system plugin that for a file system that writes to Azure Blob Storage or to Amazon S3. Those I think are okay system plugins to set up as a pull request and add into the collection here. Eventually, I think we're going to want a SharpSite organization on GitHub and have those system managed plugins published as separate repositories out there that the SharpSite community owns and manages and moves those forward. Does that make sense? I'm eager. I'm thankful that you're offering to build a plugin, but let's start with creating an issue so we have some place to start that initial discussion of, hey, I've got an idea for a plugin. I'm going to build the form data entry plugin. Okay. Let's talk about that, and we'll allocate and specify where to place that so that it can fit in. I'd like to put the SharpSite logo. Okay. Add the SharpSite logo, right? Oh, it's running. Go ahead, give me the image. Really? You're not going to start the image? Why didn't you complete that? Yes, do that. Rerun it and take a look. What's the idea for SharpSite? Check it out on the website. We want this to be a simple content management system that anybody can get started with. We built a little public website. It's open source. Anybody can jump in and see that it clearly isn't showing my page correctly. Darn it! IMG, it should be logo WebP. Right? You should have hot reloaded. Why you do this? Because it's not the correct folder. The hallucinations. There it is. Could make that bigger, you know? You know? Min width, I don't know. 500 pixels. That's really fuzzy. Not gonna lie, that's fuzzy. Oh no, I'm out of coffee. That must mean we're nearing the end of stream. There's several steps to creating your new website. This is kind of the welcome page. Can I get a larger version of that logo? Can we find that real quick? think it's here. There's the really big logo. Yeah, 1.04 meg. What happened here? Logo transparent, 930. See, it's still kind of. Yeah. Let's crop this. And then let's see if we can just. Right. Image, crop. It's like skew. Where is it? Not. Yeah, move. Go away, layers. There it is. No! What does this thing do? That's not it. I am not a graphic designer. Ah, there it is. Is that right? It looks right. Looks right-ish. Right? Like if I draw a line straight across underneath that, is that... Yeah. Alright. I want to center that. How do I center that, John? Right? Like... But I could do like image, crop to selection, image, canvas size, and then push it out, right? Anchor in the middle, yeah. Right, and go up to like, I don't know, 110. Right? That's kind of centered in the middle. Designer Fritz, that's me. No, not graphic AI. And now let's resize. And I'd like it to be 500. Right? And now, save as. Back up here. Here, there. I want this as a WebP because I'm funny like that. Let's call this logo 500. Sure. I didn't even see what size it was. Logo 500. Hey, it even sees it. That's better. That's what I'm talking about. Even if I make it bigger. That's fuzzy. That works. It looks super dope with a 1990s chrome effect. Sure. Thank you. Is it Victor Haru? Thank you. I'm not sure how to pronounce your screen name. Or Victoria Haru? I'm not... Yeah. Just Haru? Not a problem. I will remember that. And how does this look when I go... Right, if I were to be doing this, and I wouldn't be doing this because you just installed this. Yeah, I'd be on... If I was on a phone, you're not going to be on the screen on a phone because you... Yeah, you installed this. You're in the browser here on your system. Right? I think we want to put on this. Let's also do like a max width. I don't know, 700 pixels. Well, that doesn't work. That didn't work. Now I feel shame. Do I need to put another div inside this div? Because when in doubt, add another div, darn it. Right, max width 700 pixels. Right? Put that there, save that, John. Okay, now the inside of this one should be centered. Right? Is it justified content or is it align? I think it's align items. I'm going to take a guess at that. Nope. Oh, come on, man. Ooh, what did I do there? Do I need to put display flex on this one too? Oh my lord. Codebase Alpha.
Codebase Alpha just resubscribed for 10 months. SharpSite looking sharp.
I realize I just made that ugly change here right as you sent that, but man, that's wrong. Somebody clip that nonsense. I need to change the flex direction. Column. And still it's wrong. Right, it was align items. There we go. Yeah. Align items. Display flex. And flex direction column. And yes, I should move all of this out into a into an isolated CSS file. Is it really SharpSite if you can't see sharp? You're right, Haru. It's not. Let's use a little bit of CSS isolation for this. So I'm going to need to stop the website. Right? And startup, layout, razor, CSS. Let's get rid of that. Drop it in. There. And on this one. Where'd the... Oh, it's up there. We should be able to do centered content. Right, so we get just the first level div. paste in that stuff. Restart all the things. Yeah, thank you, Surly Dev. Yes. You made a nice looking chat widget UI using ChatGPT with Tailwind CSS, 0 errors, and rather good design results. Nice. The AI tools helping to give some basic, decent looking stuff is good. And of course, it did not pick that up. Why not? Startup layout, Razor CSS. That should have been picked up. Ah, there it is. I needed to force a reload of the style sheet. Interesting. But, all right. So we'll be able to go through and start building the next steps of this and move it along. Let's put a commit in for this. I should also check to see, right, verify that if the startup mode is turned on, is turned off. Yeah. That it does properly plugins, application state, excuse me. Open that with Notepad. Right, application state, it is startup completed. Let's put it right down here. And if we do say startup is completed, saved that. And I should. Let's restart. I think that's okay. Yeah. And now we're in and we're able to use the site. And if I do try to go to start step 1, yeah, exception, navigation exception, because I'm forcing you to somewhere else. I think I want to do a force load on this so that it does a full redirect. Yeah. If you try and go there, it bounces you completely out. Good. So let me go back over to here, and if I remove startup completed, first off, application state is loaded. It's not going to, like, we need to actually restart in order for it to recognize and throw us out. Rejoining the server. And there it is. Fantastic. So that bit works. Let's get that committed. Get rid of that file. Come on now. Source. SharpSite web. Uh-oh. Shoot, that added all the translator stuff. What? That one. Yeah. Source. SharpSite web locales. Oh, we need a dash R? Fine. Do that. No. Oh boy. Git restore. Staged. Source. SharpSite web locales. Okay, there we go. That looks right. And I'm gonna first steps in creating startup wizard. All right, this is going to break all of our end-to-end tests for now. We'll get to cleaning that up in a bit. But there's definitely stuff there. So I fully expect that pull request. This one should fail now. We should get a big fat red X from the playwright tests. Let me catch up on chat here. We can wrap things up. Johan asks, when is Aspire 9.1? I thought last Tuesday, but I tend to confuse Tuesdays. It's been delayed. Am I using @asset on app.razor? No, I'm not using the assets feature yet. So the team is working on .NET Aspire right now. You've been working on a pet project, says Landon Hicks, and I separated all my UI services layer into a Razor class library. There you go. My only complaint is how hacky the import process feels. Why? When adding routes from the library. Why? I've been working, like, adding routes from the library. I didn't have to do anything to add those routes. I do need to have them in the add additional assemblies up front here. And it will go and find those routes and register and add them. So, and right, the issue that we are about to run into with the plugin manager is when folks add plugins that add additional pages, routes, configuration. That list of additional assemblies in here, we're going to need to say, go find that list of extra assemblies and add. You're not seeing my screen. Let me show you. So we do this same type of, you're going to put pages out in an external class library and you can wrap them up in a plugin to be added to SharpSite. At some point, we're going to need to do a for loop and add those assemblies here, which means we need to restart the website. in order to get it to reload that collection of additional assemblies. Or we figure out a way to reach into this collection and inject it directly. That feels like it might be possible, so that we don't have to restart, but it's a thing. Yeah, the add assemblies way. And if you're putting your assemblies, your pages for reusability in an external Razor class library, to mention it in one place here and it just works, hey, that's one line of code and you've made your entire website portable as a DLL to lift up and place in a Blazor hybrid application, a Windows Forms application, a WPF application. That's pretty handy. But if my question is if there's a way to inject while this is running and say, oh, here's more assemblies while the website is currently running, here's more assemblies for you to consider. I'd have to peel under the covers and see what this is, where this places these, right? For each assembly, builder, application builder, add assembly. Like, application builder is already running, right? Because, not that one, this one, right? You've already got the application. We're down into the running bits here. So when you do add additional assemblies and we peek into the code here, right? Razor Components Endpoints Convention Builder. Right? It's looking at that. Which is coming off of this. So where does that end up putting it? So it creates a default builder off the root component. And oh look, there's with static assets. And where does that go? And so on and so forth. So there's definitely something here that we can inject on. Where that ends up, I don't know. Right? To go find that collection. Right? So there's the builder. Right? At some point, this has a build. Right? So add, finally, add render mode. I don't see a build action here. So there's a collection of assemblies here. Where? Because it does add additional assemblies. So there's an application builder on this that it exposes right there, component application builder. This thing, there's the build. Pages to page collection. So when you add assembly, it says get builder for assembly. And then it combines with the stuff in that assembly. So there's a way to do this. But when this build runs. Where'd it go? And it returns, here's the component application. You want to swap out that running application. Where does that go? Where is that called? How can we swap that out in memory so that it continues running without having to do a full restart? Not clear. But there's got to be a way to do that. I do need to wrap up, friends. Thank you so much for the questions. Let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network that I can get you connected to. Taking a look around the horn here. Let's go join. We joined him last week. Not gonna join him. No. Now we'll go join our friend Jason Lenksdorf. Jason is writing tests and cleaner code, he says. You're welcome, friends. So there we go. Thank you so much for joining. I'll be back. I'm not sure if I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to try and stream tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. There's a bunch of stuff that needs to be done, but it'll probably be Tuesday that I'll be back. All right? Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll be hanging out in Discord. I'll be wrenching on some more stuff here for SharpSite. I'm going to be working on the new chatbot. I'll be around to chat if you want to contribute. You want to take a look at some things. You have some questions that we want to walk through together. All right? Have a fantastic rest of your day, wherever you might be. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care.